Before we learn more about what ChatGPT and AI are in the first place, and how you can use them practically for your schoolwork, we need to discuss academic honesty. These principles will be essential for you as you explore not only how you can use these tools, but also when you can use them and when you can't. By the end of this video, you will be able to define academic honesty, identify examples of academic dishonesty, recognize when using ChatGPT and AI becomes academic dishonesty, and explain how to use ChatGPT and AI in school appropriately. I want to start by talking about Romans 6, verse 13. In this verse, Paul writes, "Do not offer any part of yourself to sin as an instrument of wickedness, but rather offer yourselves to God as those who have been brought from death to life, and offer every part of yourself to Him as an instrument of righteousness." This verse is primarily about our bodies. God loves us so much that He gave up His Son for us. Jesus lived perfectly and died painfully so that we don't have to. Despite our sin, God has brought us from death to life. So, if God has saved us from the penalty and the power of sin, then why would we still choose to use our bodies for sin? Because of how God has brought us from death to life, we ought to use our bodies for Him, for righteousness. Even though this verse is primarily about our bodies, the principle here can be applied to many areas of our lives. God has given us many things in life that we can enjoy and use, whether for good or evil, righteousness or sin. How do we spend our money? What do we do with our stuff? What do we do with the tools we have access to? ChatGPT and AI are tools. And like any tool, they can be used sinfully, but they can also be used righteously. And so, let's talk about how we can use these tools and how we can use them as instruments of righteousness. We'll start with defining academic honesty. The University of Georgia defines academic honesty as completing all academic work without cheating, lying, stealing, or receiving assistance from any other person or using any source of information not appropriately authorized or attributed. In a similar description of academic integrity, the University of North Carolina Chapel Hill says, "This is most relevant at the university level as it relates to providing credit to other people when using their ideas. In simplest terms, it requires acknowledging the contributions of other people." Every time you submit work at CIU, you're making an agreement with your professors and with the university. The agreement is that you're the one who did the work, you've given credit wherever you used allowed resources, and you didn't use resources that aren't allowed. I'm assuming many of you have already heard about plagiarism before. If so, then you're probably already aware that you always have to give credit to the sources you use in your work. This rule applies when you're quoting those sources and even when you're just paraphrasing them or borrowing an idea from them. If you don't, then you're not really doing your work honestly. This is why citations are so important. But have you also thought about how dishonest it is whenever you use resources that aren't allowed by your professors and submit that work anyway? Think about this example. If your math professor allows you to use a calculator on a test, then clearly it's okay to use one, right? But what if your professor says, no, you can't use one? Or more specifically, what if your professor says that you can use a calculator, but it has to be a particular kind? Maybe your professor will let you use a basic calculator, but not a graphing calculator like a TI-84. Maybe your professor will let you use a calculator, but not one on your phone. Whenever you submit work at CIU, you're agreeing that you did the work and that you did it honestly. Doing your work honestly means pointing out where you used resources to help you and using those resources only when you have permission. Otherwise, you can get in serious trouble at CIU for academic dishonesty. But even more importantly, you can seriously compromise your character. This is where ChatGPT and AI come into the picture. ChatGPT and AI are powerful tools that can do a lot of things. Depending on what you do with them, using ChatGPT and AI for your schoolwork can easily turn into dishonesty. Using ChatGPT and AI becomes academic dishonesty when your work is no longer your own, you don't acknowledge where or how you've used it, or you use it even though you don't have permission. But there are some really resourceful ways you can use AI and ChatGPT in school that you can take advantage of as long as your professors are okay with it. Here's the key question to figure out whether you're using ChatGPT and AI appropriately. Is AI doing my work for me, or is AI helping me with it? Always make sure that you're the one who's doing the work, not the AI. Make sure you've acknowledged wherever you've used it and that you only use it when you're allowed to. If you remember to do this, then you'll have a strong framework for recognizing whether you're using ChatGPT and AI honestly. In this video, we defined academic honesty, identified examples of academic dishonesty, recognized when using ChatGPT and AI becomes academic dishonesty, and explained how to use ChatGPT and AI in school appropriately. Now that we've laid this foundation, we can learn more about what ChatGPT and AI are and how you can use them practically. That will be the topic of the next video.